Breaking down this campaign film shot for Youthood in 90 seconds or less. This one was a really fun one that was shot in Uptown Charlotte. Christian told me about this idea a really long time ago, and I was super excited to help make it come to life just because it was a pretty unique concept for a fashion film, something that could promote his clothing but also tell a story at the same time. It is a Christian-based brand, and the whole point of it was that the guy is finding these pieces as he works his way through the alley, and he ends up turning the corner and finding a church and going in to explore that church. And the whole point of it is that he's going from a dark place, an alley, a deserted alley that's just dark, lonely, and moving to light. One of the main things that we really wanted to do is get this like cool POV shot. I'm pretty sure there was probably a better way to do it, but in the moment, all we had was myself and the camera. And so we shot this on the Blackmagic 6K Pro with the 12mm Rokinon fisheye lens. On the 6K, even though it's a 12mm fisheye, it's not like a crazy fisheye. There's some like curvature and like distortion around the edges, but really it's just like a pretty wide angle. And so what we did was I wrapped my arms around Lex, the model, and had him just like move his arms so that you could see both of them in the shot, and we moved together. So we were kind of like stumbling to the left, stumbling to the right to the different pieces and then picking them up and showing them for the camera. And so after we did that, we put the camera on sticks and we got some other perspectives just to add to the story and add to the narrative that we were trying to share. I think for a couple shots, like as he rounded the corner of the alley, I literally just put the camera on the floor, and because we wanted to get close to the shoes and just see him kind of like stepping into that decision point and then turning the corner. A really cool thing about the alley shot, right when we were wrapping up and we were getting the shots of Lex walking away from camera on sticks and rounding the corner, we did about like 4 or 5 takes, and I just wasn't all the way happy with it. So I was like, let's do one more. On our final take, all of a sudden, as he was walking, the lights to the alley clicked on. And what's really cool about that, that's the take we ended up using, because the whole concept of the film was from darkness to light. And while we were taking a shot and it was pretty dark, the lights clicked on. And that was really cool because it allowed us then to kind of transition that as he's going around the corner to the actual light, which is like the church, God, Jesus. Like that's where he was going. It's a metaphorical light, but the fact that a physical light clicked on was a really cool thing that just kind of ties the whole concept together. It got too dark for us to finish the entire film the same day because the church scenes would have been super dark. And obviously we didn't want it to be dark, we wanted it to be a little bit lighter. So we met up a few days later and filmed the church scenes. Consisted of him, again, coming around a corner, stepping into the shot, staring at the church, looking up at the church, and then walking up to the door. One of my favorite parts about that shot, those shots, was the shot where he's looking up and he puts his hood on and then starts walking. That was actually Lex's idea. And for some reason, I just like that. It's just like a cool concept, but also allows us to show off the design of the hoodie. Our scratch camera audio was pretty much no good to use because during the POV shots, I spent the whole time like coaching Lex about like where we were going, what we were doing, because we had to communicate with each other or else like we would have just fell. So those shots don't sound great. The church shots are okay, but there's just not much sound going on. So we didn't use audio from Cam. We built out a track from MusicBed for this scoring of the film. For all the sounds of like the walking and the shoes hitting the ground, things like that, ambient noise, city noise, that was all sound design, which is something that I'm trying to grow more in 2024, is just including and incorporating sound design into videos. It just makes the film so much better. I did try and see if maybe just music would be cool, and it just wasn't. It was missing a little something. And so adding that sound design, I would say it's very discreet. Some places it's a little louder than others, but for the most part, it's kind of just there and you might not know it, but it really does add to the film. For the color grading, it's pretty much the same process as always, but I tried to dial in a little bit more of like a filmy look with Dehancer. I used a profile that kind of cooled down the image and gave it a grittier look. And then I included a heavy film grain, a little bit of halation, I believe a tiny bit of bloom, and film damage. So it just has a really strong film feel to it. We didn't do any film matte, but we went with a 4:3 aspect ratio, which I just think for some reason, looks cool. That's pretty much the only reason I did it. There's no technical, cool film school talk to make that make sense. I just thought it looked cool, so that's what we went for, versus like a square 1:1 ratio or like a standard 16:9. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully y'all liked it. Let me know what y'all thought about it. See y'all in the next one. Peace. We'll just use the last ending. I hate that one.